Against cancer has never been more fierce. There's a powerful treatment showing promise in the fight against the dreaded disease. It was developed in California. So why are people in other countries the only ones using it? Here's KCTV5's Amy Anderson.
It's called carbon ion therapy, and it packs a punch, not only targeting the cancer itself, but potentially doubling survival time. The trouble is, we don't know enough about it yet, so we won't be the first to use it.
It was just a sense of absolute fear.
A cancer diagnosis. It was the last thing Minden Morrison was expecting, and it was advanced.
I felt shock. I mean, I was 33 years old. I had just had a baby. I had a 2-year-old. We have no history of cancer on either side of the family.
It is a devastating scenario that plays out across our own city every single day, but there is hope for cancer patients. Morrison was treated successfully at the University of Kansas Health System.
We have the absolute state-of-the-art care as it exists today in terms of conventional radiation therapy.
Dr. Shane Strickline is a radiation oncologist. He's been following the advancements in carbon ion therapy and says there's real promise there.
And again, that data is fairly immature. It's not like we have decades of follow-up for these patients who've been treated with carbon ions in most cases, but early results seem very promising. And if that continues, and once we understand their applications better, we may see carbon ion therapy much more widespread in the future.
The idea and earliest research on carbon ion therapy came from the University of California at Berkeley, but eventually Japan took the idea and the lead in its advancement. They, along with a handful of other countries like China, Germany, and Italy, are already using it successfully. So what is it? Simply put, it targets the area of cancer, attacks it, and damages far less surrounding tissue in the process.
The potential advantage of carbon ion therapy, and this is still very much an area that's being researched, is that carbon ion therapy may do a better job of damaging the tumor cell. So in addition to reducing or eliminating dose to normal tissues, it may be more damaging to the tumor cell. So that's the potential for carbon ion therapy, but much of that is still theoretical and in the very early stages of clinical development.
Researchers say pediatric cancer patients may benefit the most from carbon ion therapy because some of the damage from traditional radiation may not show up for decades. And the hope is they'll be spared from recurrence or damage from radiation they had as children. Carbon ion therapy may also be used to attack more aggressive types of tumors.
One potential advantage for carbon ion therapy is that it can treat hypoxic tumors, and that means tumors that have lost oxygen in the middle of the tumor. Oxygen is the one thing we know of that really helps radiation kill cancer cells. So tumors, as they grow, they outgrow their oxygen supply, and the middle of tumors can become hypoxic or without oxygen. That drives aggressive tumor behavior, and radiation is less effective in those tumors because there's no oxygen to help radiation do its job.
Such promise, but because of the cost of building a therapy center, which is well into the hundreds of millions of dollars, and remaining questions over whether it's as effective as it appears to be, it hasn't happened here. But doctors believe eventually it will, adding to an already impressive arsenal in the battle against cancer.
It's a very slow go, but these are all incredible tools that once we understand how to use them better, really have the potential to benefit our patients in a very meaningful way.
Right now, there are trials underway to further study the effectiveness of carbon ion therapy. And even though those are happening outside the U.S. for now, there are some American patients involved. Amy Anderson, KCTV5 News.